here at Media Row, Radio Row Super Bowl with former Broncos long snapper, also Patriots. And did you play anywhere else, or was that
just those two?
Just those two. Long snapper Lonie Paxton. We're going to talk about the light helmets here. We're going to get rid of one of them. I hate to say, sorry.
Nice, good one, good choice.
Yeah, we don't need that. We'll focus on the Eagles.
Yeah.
But first, talk about you, Lonnie. What have you been up to the last few years?
Oh man, so since I I retired from the Broncos, I went into sports marketing with GoPro and helped scale them globally. And then when the pandemic hit, they cut everybody, and so I've been kind of advising, consulting for a handful of companies, brands, products, and just trying to use my talents in creative ways. Producing a movie about brain health and the comeback from brain injuries. Promoting a saliva test for concussions, and then I've partnered with Light Helmets to talk about the safety features of the new equipment. How
did you get so much kind of into player safety? You mentioned the saliva test, concussions, things like that. Kind of what connected you with all this?
Well, ironically, when COVID hit, I got an opportunity to help produce a film, and so there was an athlete in Australia who had to retire from head injuries, had about 13 documented head injuries, and he wrote a script about kind of his career and how he's treated his brain and brought his brain back from all the negative stuff we hear to actually having a fixed brain. And I was intrigued on the storylines, but I didn't really know where to take it. I have a friend who's got 11 Emmy Awards, Bill McCullough, and he's like, this is a positive story. This is a story that needs to be told. So I started producing content around that topic, and I lost Junior Seau and a handful of other athletes in my circle, probably half a dozen over the last few years, to taking the bad way out from brain injuries. And so we want to give that hope and that positive message that you can train the right way, you can recover, your brain can recover, you can wear equipment that's a lot safer. So just kind of fits into my portfolio.
Now, how many concussions, brain injuries did you have over the course of your career?
Nothing that was crazy knockout concussions. I had a lot of wear and tear from playing offensive line for 10 years, but nothing to where I was knocked out or needed to go into the protocols. But it is a big topic, and it's ruining youth sports because parents think that the sport is unsafe, the equipment isn't up to date, the technique we've all been told the last 20 years is outdated. So learning new ways to tackle, like rugby, like Aussie rules football. So I just want to be an advocate, to help the sport thrive, because I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't play football.
Yeah. So this helmet, the light helmet, heard a lot about this. What separates it? Of course, it had the top rating in the Virginia Tech helmet evaluation research that they do. So what separates this helmet from others?
It's much lighter than the competitors. It's about 50% of the weight. So you almost feel like it's not going to be as sturdy, but the materials and the safety ratings say the exact opposite. And so, helmet technology really hasn't changed for the last 20, 30, 40 years. And now with the new materials, lighter, more compact composites that they're making, the face masks, and the ability to kind of position the padding inside to fit your specific head, it's just a better product.
How does this compare with the helmets that you wore while you played?
Oh, night and day. I mean, you can carry them side by side, and you feel the weight. I can't believe I used to wear this on my head. That's why all of us have these massive necks, because we're just carrying around this 6-pound bucket for hours on it every day. And you can tell it's almost like putting a giant weight around a puppy's neck. So when you put a big helmet on a kid, they can't run as fast, they can't move as fast, they almost become timid. Now you put this on, almost feels like there's nothing there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got this a really old 1980s model suspension helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
That I keep in my office, and occasionally I put it on. It's like, oh my God, this thing.
Yeah.
How did guys play with this?
Got like a hammock for your head.
Yes. So, go back to your playing career for a bit. Of course, some news with people teams. We'll start with the Patriots. They bring back Mike Vrabel. Now he's going to be the coach, and your old head coach and OC Josh McDaniel is going back there. What are you expecting from them now?
It's an exciting time for the Patriot fans of old. In the early 2000s when I was there, and what that culture built for the community, for the team, for the types of players that they mentored and built. So I'm excited for them to come back and put their own spin on it, but also get back to what really made the Patriots good, and that's, doing the little things, no mistakes, less penalties, run the football, efficient offense and defense and special teams. So I'm excited for them.
What do you think Josh will do with Drake May specifically?
I think he's excited about Drake May. I mean, that's, you really didn't get that, shiny new nickel when Tom came in, because you had Bledsoe, so you didn't really know Tom was going to be that. And then once Tom, the injury occurred and Tom became Tom, I think that excited Josh and the offense to really take that player to the next level and make everyone around him better, which I think he's interested to do with Drake May.
Your other NFL alma mater, the Broncos, of course, they had a nice turnaround this year, and when you played, you were a part of a turnaround, like going from 4-12 in 2010 to winning the division, winning a playoff game the following year. Kind of when you look back on that, I mean, the obvious thing, people love talking about Tim Tebow from that year, but there were a lot of other elements that went into that team turning around. Kind of when you look back on that season, what do you think of the things that came together to get the Broncos headed in the right direction again?
Yeah, I mean, we had to deal with quite a bit of media attention because Tim was there. And I think guys rallied around the fact that games did come down to the wire. He was scrambled around in the fourth quarter. It was a lot of defense. We weren't scoring a ton of points, but we were making big kicks. We were playing amazing defense. Champ, DJ, and B-Doc. There was a lot of cornerstones of that, of the vets there in the defense that really kept us in games. And so, I think with this year's turnaround and the nucleus of players they got coming back, there's going to have some opportunity.
You hear a lot, whether it's that turnaround or even the Broncos this year, you hear a lot about culture in terms of fixing things that go wrong. So in your experience, how did culture kind of manifest to create success for you?
Well, I mean, it starts obviously with the athletes you bring in. So upper management has to put the right scouting department together to go find the players that fit your system, and they're going to mesh together and really bring that culture in from the inside. Gone are the days that a coach can sit there and give you the most epic pregame speech or the most inspirational quote, and you feel like that's just going to turn on a switch. It doesn't work like that. You got to really put those pieces of the puzzle together, put them through the tough times, have them start to build their own culture, and then figure out what you have and start to mold it a little bit for what your strengths are.
Is it more of kind of what you're saying? It's almost like a small deposits every day, all the little things, rather than the big movie cinematic moments that people think of on the outside.
It's the grind of training camp. It's the monotony of the Wednesday meetings. It's your days off that you actually go out together and you do things as a team. I was part of a few teams that we'd spend Christmas morning together. Go to Vrabel's house and open up presents with the kids, and that we were a family. And so you got to like each other on and off the field. And I think that starts building trust in each other.
It's really interesting to think about those little things that actually create a champion, because I think on the outside everyone focuses on the big stuff on the field, but it's those bonding moments that sort of really turn the five fingers into a fist almost.
100%. I mean, I used to be the music guy on the airplane, so this is you had to put a CD in. And I had a big giant Apple laptop, those 4 Bluetooth speakers, but I was kind of the karaoke guy in the back. So we'd win, everyone's celebrating in the back, and we had sing-alongs from the plane onto the bus and into our cars. And it was just something that guys were looking forward to. Because you don't see that stuff on TV. You see the wins and losses.
Did you ever get to be the DJ for a practice?
Not a practice.
No. Okay.
But my music choices, I'm all over the map. You got country here, you got hip hop there, you got reggae here. So the vets got to choose, and so it was up to me. But some guys in the front of the bus didn't like it as much, but we're still singing loud and proud. All
right, one last thing on the light helmets. Will any players be wearing these Sunday that you know
of? On these two teams, I'm not for sure. I know 28 out of the 32 teams, we have a player representative wearing it. That's a great question for Nick.
Do you have one of the Broncos? Do you know of or not? Or I'll ask Nick.
I'm not too sure. Okay. I know on the Saints, Cam Jordan wears it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure on the actual teams.
Okay. All right. So the light helmets, it's they're You're seeing more and more of them. #1 rated in the Virginia Tech helmet stake. Check him out, Lonie Paxton.
Yeah,
Good to
buddy.
catch up with you, man. Good to
Thank
see you
you
again.
too. Appreciate it.